You know the type. That boss who always seems to have it together, but somehow makes you feel like you're the one messing up. The one who's constantly frustrated, snaps too quickly, and turns every team meeting into a slow-burning stress bomb. Yeah, that guy. Here's the thing. It's rarely about you. What follows is a story about one of those guys. And what happens when someone like that finally sees what's actually going on. There's a man sitting across from me, well-dressed, mid-50s, confident jawline, restless eyes. He's a textbook example of success. Built his business from the ground up, drives the car, has the team, lives the story. But now he's here with a problem. A problem I've heard before, more times than I can count. He leans in and starts unloading, not in anger, in exhaustion. The team, he says, the people, they're driving me crazy. They keep making mistakes. Basic stuff. Stuff I've already explained. And the worst part, he adds, I have to tell them 3 times, sometimes more. They forget, or they don't get it, or they just don't care. He exhales through his nose like he's holding back a scream. They're just dumb, he says. Then he pauses. Or maybe not dumb. Just not very smart. And right there, that's where it begins. Not the burnout. Not the resentment. The real problem. Because the issue isn't that his people are lazy, or incompetent, or rebellious. The issue is that he sees them that way. And once that frame is locked in place, every little mistake becomes proof. Every hesitation confirms the belief, and he's stuck in a loop, one that only leads one way. I'm doing all the thinking, he says. They just want to clock in and clock out. No initiative, no ownership. They treat it like a job. I nod. Slowly. Not because I agree, but because I'm thinking, how do I break through without triggering defense mode? He continues. Says he's now on antidepressants. That shocked me. Not because I judge it, okay, maybe a little, but because I know where that path leads. And in most cases, I think it's the wrong road. See, antidepressants don't solve the problem. They mute the volume, flatten the highs and lows. And when the emotional signal gets flattened, most coaching tools become useless. You can't shift a perspective that's been chemically numbed. The insight can't land when the system's dulled. So I decide to take a different route. Less emotion, more structure, more clarity. Look, I say, we're meaning makers. Constantly. Actively. Even if we don't realize it. And he gives me that look. You know the one. Part curiosity, part suspicion. So I keep going. Here's how it works. If I say the word cup, you instantly picture one. Right? If I hold up a cup, your brain labels it just as fast. That's surface level meaning. First layer stuff. But what that cup means to you, that's the magic. For one person, a cup means coffee, which means a quiet moment, which means space to breathe, which means peace, clarity, energy. For someone else, the same cup means connection, because coffee means conversation. Conversation means closeness, and closeness means care. Same object, same word, but completely different experience. And the kicker, we assign that meaning ourselves, often unconsciously, but still, us. He nods, still listening. Good. I'm not here to change his mind. I'm here to show him how his mind works. So, I say, I could ask you what it means when an employee makes a mistake. But you've already told me. It means wasted time, lost money, disappointed clients. In your system, mistakes equal threat. So if I ask you what mistakes mean, you'll give me the script you already live by. But that's not where the shift happens. He looks at me, silent now. I pause, then ask gently, What does the word collaboration mean to you? I ask him again. Same question, just a little slower this time. I lean in and emphasize the word together. What does working together mean to you? He looks at me, blank, glazed over eyes. There's nothing behind them. No images, no emotion, no connection. Just emptiness. I wait. Still nothing. So I repeat it. One more time. Calm. Director. What does working together mean to you? And then I add, because we are meaning makers. Actively. Constantly. Even when we don't realize it. So if this word doesn't mean anything to you yet, that's fine. But it means we've got a blank page. You get to decide what it could mean. What you want it to mean. He hesitates. Then he shrugs a little and says, well, if I could choose, I'd want it to mean trust. And then, like a slow faucet being turned on, more comes. Patience, tolerance, and learning. And letting others learn. Because honestly, most of what I've learned came from making mistakes. So, I guess working together also means you're not doing it alone. You've got a goal, a shared one, and you get there by letting each other grow. His voice starts picking up energy. His hands move more. He doesn't realize it yet, but his entire posture has shifted. Working together should feel good, he says. There should be flow, humor, a sense of effort, but without the exhaustion. His eyes start to shine. He's not describing theory anymore. He's remembering something. Maybe childhood. Maybe the way it used to be when business was still fun. Whatever it is, he's in it now. And I look at him and say, almost playfully, oh, so, making mistakes, that's actually part of healthy collaboration? He blinks, that pause between shock and clarity. And then it hits him. Yes, he says, loud, certain. Yes, that's exactly it. Making mistakes is part of good teamwork. I'd never seen it that way before. And in that one sentence, his system begins to reset. I let the silence hang there. Because sometimes that's where the shift lands deepest. Not in more words, but in less. And then I explain. Most entrepreneurs, the real ones, already knew how to collaborate when they were kids. Back then it was natural. You built a fort together. You made up rules for a game that didn't exist yesterday. You fought. You laughed. You created. Together. And it worked. Not because there were manuals, but because meaning was shared. But somewhere along the way, the meaning got lost. And when something loses meaning, it dies. Slowly, then suddenly. So what happens when a business owner forgets the meaning of working together? Simple. The team stops trying. Because if he only knows what it means to work, but not what it means to work together, then why should they care beyond the paycheck? Clock in, clock out, do what's asked, nothing more. And that mistake, that one detail missed, that typo on page 3, who cares? Not my problem. But if the person at the top truly shows what working together means, if they carry that meaning and embody it, then the team follows. Then I don't just do my job. I check that last page. I reread the offer. I double check the date. Not because I'm afraid, not because I want a bonus, but because I'm proud to be part of something shared. Because it's not just work anymore. It's working together. And that changes everything.